Yumi Kawamura, professor at the Fashion Institute of Technology, the enthusiastic cosplayers and models, and the Japanese makeup team who are here with us tonight. Special thanks to Kazu Oiwake and Mock Management, who are our partners in this event, as well as to our sponsor, Fiberwick. Tonight's event will begin with a brief introduction to cosplay by Dr. Kawamura, followed by the fashion show. Afterwards, we will have a makeup demonstration of how to make subcultural styles and a makeup performance that we hope you will enjoy. At the end of the makeup performance, there will be an opportunity for a short question and answer session. To close, we hope you can join us at a tea party that we'll have at the lower level. Please remember to turn off your cell phones. Thank you for coming, and we hope you enjoyed tonight's event. Now please join me in welcoming Dr. Yumi Kawamura.
Hello everyone, it's good to be here. Welcome to FYC. Before we begin the show, I'm going to give you a brief introduction to cosplay for those people who are not familiar with this term or this phenomenon. Then you'll probably enjoy the show even more. If you are very familiar with the term, you can just sleep for 10 or 15 minutes. Next slide, please. Cosplay is an abbreviation of costume play. It's a noun and it's also a verb. You'll find the word even in the Oxford English Dictionary. Basically, you dress up in a costume and have fun. But not any kind of costume. You dress up as a character from a manga, anime, film, book, or video games. The cosplayers imitate the characters from head to toe. There are cosplay events throughout Japan every weekend, and cosplayers go to these events, show off their costumes, and get their pictures taken. Sometimes they take part in cosplay contests and competitions. They post their pictures on their blogs, Facebook, or MySpace, and have others look at them and comment on them. As the popularity of anime and manga grew, in the early 90s, so did the popularity of cosplay. The closest phenomenon or trend you can think of in the West is probably Halloween costumes. But cosplay is not for any particular holidays. Next slide, please. These costumes can be bought. There are stores that sell ready-made costumes, and you can also get them online. The cheap ones can be bought for $20 to $30 an outfit, but they are not well made. But the good ones cost hundreds of dollars. Teenage cosplayers who have no sewing skills often buy the ready-made ones so that they can go to these events. But you get the utmost respect from your peers when you actually make them yourself. Next, please. Their magazines targeted to cosplayers, mostly in their teens and 20s. One of the most popular ones is Cosplay, that started in 2008. It is now published 6 times a year, with a circulation of 100,000. Another cosplay magazine is called Dengi Players. Cosplayers refer to themselves as layers. It's a short form of cosplayers. This one was published in 2003 and has a circulation of 80,000. And it's also published 6 times a year. Both of these magazines give detailed instructions as to how to imitate and create a particular character. They even have patterns you can actually use to make the costume. Next one, please. In addition to the magazines, You will also find books on how to transform yourself as close to the anime character as possible. For instance, the books tell you how to find the right wig with the right color, the right length, or the right texture. Or they give you tips on how to create Asian eyes or Western eyes. Many of them wear color contact lenses. And you will see in the show, cosplay makeup is very distinct. There are also books on how to make a Japanese kimono-inspired costume, since it requires very specialized dressmaking skills, and they are very different from the Western dressmaking techniques. Next one, please. I am currently writing a book on Japanese subcultures, and I have a small section on cosplay. I'm not an expert on anime or manga, but I am interested in cosplay as a phenomenon, and those kids who are obsessed with cosplay. So I interviewed one female cosplayer when I was in Tokyo. Her name is Ayumi Saito, and she likes to cosplay a male character. Her favorite manga is, maybe some of you know, is Nintama Rantaro. The manga is about a ninja called Rantaro and his friends and teachers at a ninja school. Ninja is a historical figure and is an Asian highly trained in martial arts and is often hired to assassinate someone. Ayumi loves the characters in this manga, so her cosplays always follow the ninjas in this manga. And she told me, I quote, "The purpose of cosplay is to interpret a particular manga or anime as accurately as possible. You try to become a character just as an actor or actress in the movie tries to play a role. You study the character's mannerisms, hand gestures, or body language. The fundamental rule among the cosplayers is that they must make and sew their own costume. The closer to the character in anime or manga you get, the more respect and status you earn as a cosplayer. Once I know which character I'm playing, I watch the DVD hundreds of times and draw sketches to check all the details. And to make a two-dimensional character three-dimensional is the biggest challenge, but it's also great fun." Unquote. A group of cosplayers decides on a particular anime or manga and discusses which character each wants to play, and they set the date to complete their costumes. Once everyone finishes sewing their own costume, they go to events or rent a photo studio and take pictures. I used one of her pictures for my article in the Japan Fashion Exhibition catalog, the one on the right, and she was ecstatic. Next slide, please. The largest event in Japan that the cosplayers go to is a semi-annual comic market known as Komike that takes place in Tokyo in August and December. It's a convention for self-published manga and novels, and it's called doujinshi. And this is a huge event. It attracts 520,000 people in 3 days. And cosplayers congregate to show off their costumes. And picture taking takes place within a designated area within the convention hall. Next slide, please. And there are some more pictures from the comic market. This is last summer. Next one, please. Next slide, please. Yes. And these are the photographers. I was there last summer with my photographer, and the temperature was historically high last summer in Tokyo, and it was just brutally hot. But there were hundreds or even maybe thousands of cosplayers drenched in sweat, but still cosplaying.
Whoa.
The convention was packed. hours just to buy a train ticket to go home. So you can imagine how packed the place was. It was just crazy. Next slide, please. It's the largest electronics town in Japan. And it is the place for manga and anime fans or fanatics called otaku, O-T-A-K-U, which refers to those with obsessive interests. The manga and anime industries are central to the Akihabara subculture. And there are related industries such as video games, anime songs, anime and manga figurines, and cosplay cafes and restaurants. Since the late 90s, there's a large number of cosplay cafes catering to devoted anime and cosplay fans. And the waitresses dress in cosplay costumes. And the maid costumes are the most popular. So they are called maid cafes. What is distinctively unique about these cafes or restaurants is that when you walk inside, the waitress will greet you by saying, "Welcome home, master." As if you came home and your maid was waiting for you. Next one, please. As part of my fieldwork, I visited one cosplay restaurant with my photographer. When I went there, a waitress was wearing a high school uniform. So the interior looked like a classroom with desks, chairs, and a blackboard. It was a Monday, and apparently Mondays are school uniforms. Tuesdays are nurse uniforms. Wednesdays, something else. So each day, they cosplay in a different outfit. So if you go there every day, you see a waitress cosplaying in a different outfit. But she will always say to you, "Welcome home, master." If you want to take their pictures, you need to pay about 1,000 yen, which is about $12 now, and for 10 minutes. You can take pictures for 10 minutes. Next slide, please. An event like this at FIT proves that cosplay is not simply a domestic Japanese phenomenon. It is global. Cosplay first spread to Asian countries, such as China and Korea, since they are always quick to pick up the latest trends in Japan. It has also spread to Singapore and Indonesia. In Thailand, the Thai version of the cosplay magazine I mentioned, Cosmod, was published last December. And especially with the help of the internet, it is spreading like fire throughout the world. You will find cosplay events not only in the US or Europe, but also in Australia, New Zealand, and South America. If you go to anime and manga conventions in the US, you will find American cosplayers. And these pictures were taken at the Anime Festival in New York last October, and I'm sure many of you went there. The largest event for cosplayers outside Asia is the annual San Diego Comic Con held in California. And there's also a maid cafe in Los Angeles and Manila as well. Next one, please. The first World Cosplay Summit took place in 2003 in Nagoya, Japan, and the Japanese government invited some cosplayers from Europe. It was a one-day event at the time. But since 2005, there is a cosplay championship. They first need to win a championship in their own countries before they come to Nagoya to compete in the World Championship. Next slide, please. And this list shows the cosplay grand champions since 2005. And last year was Italy, before that Japan, before that Brazil. And at FIT's current Japan Fashion Now exhibition, You will find 2 outfits from the American cosplay champions, Elizabeth Riccata and India Davis. They represented the USA in 2009. Unfortunately, they didn't win the World Championship, but their costumes look great. They look wonderful, and you will see them at our exhibition right now. Thank you very much for your attention.